You got to remember, it's also recording on the computer, so you don't have to download it.
Okay.
Okay, I need this moved. You got to turn the AC on, otherwise we're gonna die. I need to move some of this stuff so I can sit here. Oh, I can't wear my hat. Oh, the camera fell. I didn't touch it. Why is it falling? Why wasn't it falling when I was sitting down? It's really weird.
Got up and flexed your muscles and it fell for you.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Same as me.
Same as you. Is that you?
No. Come on back.
Butt stuff. I'm looking at me. I'm not looking at you.
Okay.
Alright,
We're supposed to get rid of
Hola.
that.
Get rid of what?
That, remember? It was very distracting watching ourselves.
I don't remember that.
Yeah. Get rid of it. Go to just the chat open.
Why is it asking us to sign into chat? Oh, that's the YouTube control panel. That's not chat.
Decided, yeah, don't. What did you do?
That's fine.
Okay.
I'm taking chat out. And then I'm minimizing. Well, why would it chat minimize? Because it's part of the thing. That's not separate then.
There we go. That'll work. Okay.
No, because that's putting it up top like that.
Why don't you just minimize that and go to YouTube?
There. There we go.
Okay.
Oh, that's smart. Is that what we did last time?
Yeah.
Well, why didn't you say something?
I believe I did.
You're so silly.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, it's right there. YouTuber.
YouTuber. Yep, that's us.
We're live.
We are.
Does anyone know that? Is anyone watching?
Come on. Click it.
Do I click it? Are you
Yeah.
sure?
Pretty sure.
It seems like then that would be us. Now we're seeing us.
Close now. That's the one. We just
Well, how do I not see this?
It's just we're still figuring all that out.
There we go.
There it is. Now you can minimize the other one, I think.
No. You are correct.
There it is. That's how we did this last time. We're still working this all out.
Working out the kinks and the
Hey.
cranberries and the police. Did you get it?
Yeah, I got it. Anyway.
Am I wrong? Is the Kinks not a name of a band?
No, it is.
Okay.
No.
The joke worked.
Yeah, it worked. It was just not a good joke. It was an excellent dad joke.
I'm feeling very judged right now.
A little judged. All right. Speaking of judgments, no, we're gonna try not to be too judgy, but
I'm judging. What are we doing? What are we doing?
we're
What are we
patting
doing?
you.
Why are we
You're
doing this?
sweaty.
Why, what's going on?
You're glistening.
No one asked for this.
All
All right, so we're talking about birthright citizenship.
Yes.
The right guaranteed to citizens, to anyone, well, not anyone, mostly anyone, born in the United States, no matter the where their parents are from.
Okay. hang on.
Guaranteed by the 14th Amendment.
14th.
Yeah.
Why is the mouse dancing?
This is a laser.
I see. Apparently I'm a cat. 'cause
It's
I
a
was
shark
distracted.
with laser beams on their foreheads.
Okay, so
It looked like you had a question when I said almost everyone.
yeah, what does that mean?
There are exceptions made for the children of emissaries from other countries. So if you are, so like let's say the ambassador from wherever came here and had a kid in one of our hospitals, that kid is not a U.S. citizen.
Okay, and that's to avoid what?
Other countries taking over our country politically.
Okay.
So the ambassador to say, I'll
Spain
use
or
France,
France.
because they'll surrender if we're too mean to them.
Stop.
France comes here and is like, I'm awesome, I'm French, I'm sexy as hell, and I boned my wife, and she's gonna shit out a kid. Okay? And so that's how kids are made, right? Don't look at me like that. So she goes to the hospital, American hospital. She has an American kid. Well, then one day, like 10, 15, 20 years from then, or 35 years from then, French guy is now president of France. And he's like, hey, my kid's 35. He should run, and I'll give him the whole backing of the French government.
Okay.
It's bad.
Okay. That makes sense.
Other than that, though, I mean, there's like one or two other exceptions. They're like that, though. They all have to do with someone taking over the country. Other than that, anyone born here is American citizen.
Okay. Why did they do this? Why did they include that in the 14th Amendment?
That's a good question. Well, it was. I think at the time it was just easier to say anyone born here than like counting out every single person who was here, going, these are all citizens and they're decided to be citizens, but nobody else gets to be. Because we were freeing a lot of slaves in the 14th Amendment.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them.
Yeah.
In fact, all of them?
Yeah.
No, not all of them.
Well, you know, only
except
on
for
paper.
the prisoners. Prisoners are still slaves.
Yeah.
So I think that's why I would have. I when I looked it up and I did my research, I didn't even think of that question. That's a good question. Why did they include that in the 14th Amendment? I don't know. I mean, if I had to guess, though, that's what I would say. Unless you're willing to let me like take a minute and while you talk.
I mean, yeah, you can. I certainly thought that it had something to do with slavery. Specifically, they wanted to make sure that there was no end run around, you know, repatriating people to Africa or things like that. Trying to, you know, undermine their right to be counted as American citizens. That's what I presumed was the reason. And so, if that is the reason, it's certainly, or at least if it's tied to that reason, it would certainly be cause for what?
It was because of the Dred Scott decision.
To make sure that there was not an end run around.
The 13th Amendment abolished slavery. That was wrong. But the 14th Amendment with the critical opening line, all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens. So the reason why it says and subject to the jurisdiction thereof is because children of foreign diplomats occupying enemy soldiers couldn't have children who could then be American citizens.
That makes sense.
And at the time, indigenous people, but that has since changed.
Well, yeah, because there are none left.
Indigenous people?
You know what I mean.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, it did have to do that. But I will say, like, the wonderful side effect was the melting pot that became America.
Right, but it didn't say, and there's a reason that I want to address this, because it doesn't say like how many generations makes it not
Nope.
birthright citizenship.
No, the whole point of having it be part, like the one right after freeing the slaves, 13 and 14, was so that future courts wouldn't be able to go, well, you're black, so you're not a citizen. Because up to that point, even being a freed slave didn't make you a citizen.
Correct.
And so by the 14th Amendment, it was like, hey, if you were born here, you're a citizen.
Okay. So that was the original purpose for it, right?
Yes.
Okay. However, in more modern times, a term that I have heard thrown all over conservative talking points are ugly terms like anchor babies.
So, if you're a foreign national and you come to this country illegally, and you have a child who is here, and that child is now a legal citizen, it's a lot harder to evict you from the country.
Oh, it used to be.
Yeah, it used to be.
Yes.
And so that is what they meant by anchor baby. But
Right.
it comes from that idea comes from the misrepresentation of what our freedom is, as though there's a finite amount of it. And so if there are more people, we lose something, which
Right.
I will never understand. As though if I had an infinite number of sandwiches and someone asked me for a sandwich, giving them one would mean I have less sandwiches. I mean, technically, sure, but
It's infinite.
I have enough.
Well, yeah. I mean that that gets into so many other topics.
It does.
But it is that thinking is the argument of replacement theory, is the argument of gay marriage somehow that takes away from straight marriage, or
Which I don't understand.
yeah, okay. So we're not. Those are other conversations for other days.
We can have them right now. We got plenty of time. We've only been doing this 10 minutes.
Yeah. But the argument is currently that this is something that needs to be stopped so that
Who's not gonna know goddamn point? Excuse me a moment.
don't know. There will be a momentary.
That's annoying. Ah, I almost fell.
You
I
okay?
expected that to be there, and it wasn't.
What was that?
That was somebody. That was, well, I don't want to disparage, but that was somebody selling something for less than it was, what its normal retail value would be.
I see.
Something fell off the back of the truck.
Let's just say that. Okay.
It looked like a laptop, but I wasn't going to open my door to that guy. Mainly because we're doing this. I would have given him a second. I would have checked it out.
So the argument, is that immigrants, undocumented immigrants, are using this somehow to tie themselves, to give themselves some sort of legal refuge.
Yeah, I mean, that is true.
Yeah. I don't.
Paying taxes. Like, I don't.
Well, we won't even get into all that. Well, I guess no, we can, because people talk about it's always, coming here illegally. It's coming here, taking jobs. It's coming here and basically interrupting the status quo. But I guess I'm wondering how, well, any of what this administration is currently doing changes that. Taking away birthright citizenship,
And citizenship for everybody.
and that's what I'm saying. I guess I don't understand, or I'm wondering how this isn't the immediate question everyone is asking. Because if being born here is not cause to be called a citizen, then how do you prove your citizenship? How do I prove my citizenship?
That's the question.
But nobody's answering it. Nobody's even asking it.
People are asking it, but it's not making the news, and you're not seeing it mainstream. People are asking. I see it online a lot. People are asking. But
Okay.
but the thing is it's an us and them mentality, right?
Yep.
So for the people on the right, they like Donald Trump, and Donald Trump so far likes them. And so they don't
Okay.
have to worry about it, so why do you have to worry about it? Obviously you're the other, and so you do have to worry about it. If you were a right-thinking American, you wouldn't have to worry about this shit. Because they're not going to come for me. Exactly. You have the right look on her face. Exactly. Yeah, because they are. They're absolutely going to come for you. They're just not coming for you right now. Some people are using the quote online, the quote from the third X-Men movie, where Magneto interrupts the meeting, and it's like, this isn't. This I don't think he used the word genocide, but it's like, this isn't genocide. They're not talking about that, and Magneto comes in and goes, nobody talks about it.
No.
They just do it. And they're doing it. That's what this is. This is a genocide. Not yet. It's starting. They're starting. They've learned from the past genocides, and they're doing it right this time. Israel's doing it to Palestine. Because right, the thing that happens first is they take all the criminals, right, and they put them away. They send them away so you don't have to see them. And then the ones that they know, like, I'm worried that doing this publicly, it's going to be me. People who talk out, who speak out, they're going to be the criminals, and they'll be disappeared. And then next comes the bombings, right? You find out where, like, the sanctuary cities, they're easy targets.
Well, they're doing that now. They're not bombing them.
Not yet. And then comes the starvation.
They certainly are sending troops.
Because they've stopped bombing Gaza.
No.
Now they're just not letting food in.
Okay.
And everyone's starving to death. It'll be a month, maybe 2, and then they can go in, pick up everybody left who's been cannibalizing people, because that's the only solution. The pets are already dying. Dogs and cats. Someone posted a photo of their cat. Rail thin. Used to be a big Maine Coon.
Yeah, that's awful.
Yeah. They're calling it alligator Alcatraz.
Yeah, I'm not calling it that.
That's the name. That's the literal name.
That's nice.
I don't even.
I'm not calling it that. I'm calling it what it is.
Auschwitz.
Concentration camp.
It's alligator Auschwitz.
No, I'm not calling it that either. I'm giving it some cute little name. I just and has this officially passed?
That's what officially passed.
Him ending birthright citizenship.
This is what a constitutional crisis looks like.
Yeah.
Because he can't. And that's not a joke. That's not me going, oh, he literally does not have the authority to do that. But he's saying, based on the Constitution.
No, I mean, what is it something that Congress has to do?
It's way more complex than that.
Okay.
Amendments.
It would be
It's
an
a 14th Amendment.
Okay.
Like to change an amendment, to add an amendment, to end. Like they're talking about like privatizing the different parts of the U.S. government, and they can. There are certain parts that they will be able to do that to. But I guarantee you, they can't do it to the post office. They can try.
They can end it.
No, they can't.
Why not?
Because it takes an act of Congress, and then it has to be it's in the Constitution. It has to be ratified by at least 38 states. That's how you get rid of birthright citizenship. You have to pass a bill, and then it has to be ratified by 38 states. And you're not going to get 38 states to agree on the weather, on which direction, on whether the Earth is flat, like or round. Like you're not going to get 38 states to agree on anything.
I don't know. I mean, obviously it's happened before. Things have been ratified.
The last, it was the 25th, and it was in the 40s. It was in the 40s, during the war. Before the war, during the war. And that was before Alaska, Hawaii, and but I think there might have been one other state that weren't states yet. So you need less than 30, you need like 35.
Okay. It just, I don't know. It seems like Congress isn't going to be something that is in the way. It sounds like it will definitely would say ineffectual. Those who are willing to, speak out, but not toe the line, not bend the knee, aren't doing well. You talked about you being targeted. I mean, we're certainly seeing implications of that with media. I mean, we're seeing it with the CBS settlement, and now Colbert, and
Control of the media.
yep.
It started when Elon Musk bought Twitter. It mirrored almost exactly one of Hitler's big guys bought the biggest newspaper in Germany. I can't remember what it was. Not that I think that there's a direct link between Nazism and modern day, but you can go to any. There is. Don't get me wrong, but not that one. But you can go to any of the fascist takeovers, and they all look like this. Every
yeah.
single one of them looks like this.
Yeah,
Pol Pot, fucking
there's a reason
Mussolini.
that it is, textbook. Which is why, everyone, I've been seeing lots of memes on social media, and about people asking, and we have, at least throughout my life, and I know throughout your life, I think even for most of my mom's, it was, how did the Germans let this happen? How did they not? This is how, and this is the meme that keeps circulating. This is exactly how. And even like people who I know for a fact are way smarter than me and way more politically savvy than me. Jon Stewart. I like Jon Stewart a lot, and I know he's way smarter than me and way more experienced in this kind of stuff. He's dismantled political pundits, but even he's acknowledged he did not realize how quickly things would escalate. And I find this a lot in conversations around everything that's been happening with the mass deportations and the immigration, and now in the heat of this discussion about birthright citizenship. But there are people who have been sounding the alarm of, we're headed to a bad place, we're headed to, potential civil war, whatever, World War III. People have been yelling that since Trump won the first time, right?
Yep.
And everyone chalked them up to Chicken Littles, doomsday preppers. Types. And even when he won the second time, which to say that out loud still just
I know.
okay. But
They can change the lock.
Apparently, they don't believe that. And that's the thing. It's like trying to convince, someone in an abusive relationship that they don't have to put up with it. You can say that, but they don't believe it.
I should run.
Keep seeing that.
Why shouldn't I?
This is so off topic. The point being that if they don't stop him and we hit this point of constitutional crisis, which everyone keeps talking about,
Yep.
where is that point? Because
We're there.
It seems like that goalpost keeps getting moved.
It feels like it, but it's not. We're in the end zone.
Okay. I keep coming back to the Untouchable movie and the Untouchables movie and Sean Connery going, okay, what are you prepared to do now? Like,
I want to run.
I don't mean you personally. I mean, I don't understand. Like, everyone wants to talk about a way to go forward, but in a positive way. And I guess it's that point that's the question. Do we have any way to pause the stream?
We probably could. Why do you need some?
Yes. I need personal space.
We're too close.
No. There we go.
We're gonna pause for a second, I guess. I don't know how this works.
It'll be in two parts if we have to stop it.
I don't think we'll have to stop it. Auto stop. Yeah, we're gonna have to stop.
We're going to pick right back up. Give us like 5 minutes. 5, 10 minutes.
I can just turn. No, we can pause. Hold on. I'm gonna put it. Because I can shut off. Okay. All right, we're pausing. No, come on. I can do this. Get up. Just push me out of the way. Boom.
I can't.
We're not being seen. We're now not being heard. No, we can pause. Hold on. I'm gonna put it. Because I can shut off. Okay. All right, we're pausing. No, come on. I can do this. Get up. Just push me out of the way. Boom.
I can't.
We're not being seen. We're
introduced this as an idea? This end to birthright citizenship.
That would be
Was this specifically Trump? Was this the GOP? Was this
Project 2025.
okay?
They were using, excuse me, I should have a drink. They were using, you gotta remember, the playbook is, if you want sycophantic followers, you gotta give them an enemy.
Right.
It goes all the way back to 1980 to Orson Welles, but actually earlier than that. But. And the idea is to give them an enemy that you can dehumanize.
Right.
Because if you dehumanize them, it's easier to abuse them and kill them.
Yep.
Now, they were using the easiest one to do that with, which is pedophiles. If you're my enemy, you're a pedophile, right?
Right.
It's one of the first things they said about these immigrants. Some of them are pedophiles. Because we don't care about pedophiles. You could light a pedophile on fire in Central Park, and you might get arrested for it, but mainly because you set a fire without a permit.
No.
I know.
But yes,
You get what I mean.
You're saying. Yes.
And so when you dehumanize, you take away the need for empathy for another human being.
Yeah.
You can do whatever you want to them. And so they've been doing that systematically with immigrants. These immigrants are thieves, they're liars, they're rapists, they're the worst, they're the worst, they're the worst. Because, of course, Americans are good, decent, hardworking. Anyone who isn't an American isn't any of those things. And so that's what this is. This is the enemy. The thing is it's a very prevalent enemy. It's easy to point. We all know someone who could be an immigrant, someone we could point to and go, that guy. But eventually,
within our own families.
It's going to run out. Or it's going to get too low where that enemy, why are we still talking about immigrants? We got rid of all the immigrants. Then it's going to be something else. Communists. And so historically, communists and anarchists are the easiest ones. The next easiest ones. Socialists, yeah. And then, and then it'll be Jews.
No, I know how it works. I don't. Being in the moment in history, it's easy to, I guess, to Monday morning quarterback and look back at like the Nazi Holocaust and go, why didn't they stop it? How did they not see this coming, right? But we're literally in the moment, watching it happen in real time. And I'm still asking that question. Because, and I guess this is, I mean, they go hand in hand. If you're talking about something like, ending birthright citizenship, then you already are talking about the cultism, the cultism that's happening in American politics.
Okay.
And so I guess you really can't separate the two. Like I said, I keep seeing this pushback of, being the bigger person, the better person.
Yep.
And I can't, I mean, you and I have talked about this whenever you sit around with a bunch of nerdy friends and fantasize about, the end times. How would you survive in a zombie apocalypse kind of situation? But, like, there's a point, I think, and I think a lot of the right would be surprised that people on the left think this way, but there is a point, I don't think I'm a rarity, where being the bigger person concedes the battle, concedes the war.
Yep.
And I know that people who see themselves as being able to look at the big picture like to think that we're beyond that. But I don't know that we are. You're looking at me very
So, because I don't know what side you're falling on right now.
Well, I guess that's kind of my point. I'm not sure either where that line is of falling from one side to the other, because I do appreciate the idea that we don't want to become as bad as the thing that we are trying to fight against.
Right.
But at some point, the sit-ins aren't getting it done.
Yeah.
And you know, this is something that I think people of color struggled with in the divide of the civil rights between your Malcolm X's and your Martin Luther King's. People wanting to do the more the less angry, more take the high road approach.
Yes.
Versus the no, I'm pissed off, and I will defend myself.
Yes.
And you know, it's been long argued that they were kind of coming to a middle ground when both of them wound up dead.
Yes.
So I guess I don't know where I fall, because I'm looking at this situation going, okay, like you know, I believe in protests. I believe in being in civil disobedience and that kind of thing. But when the system breaks to a point where I don't know if I'm safe, then what?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I do.
And so for these people looking at you know, I don't know where the line is when they talk about birthright citizenship. Do they mean just, okay, were you born in this country? That doesn't count. How many generations back does count before you're considered an American?
It's whatever they want. I swear to God, Kim, they're going to take it case by case. And they're going to go, oh, you're kind of brown.
They've never taken
5.
anything case by case. This is what I'm saying. Ever.
You're right, and they're not going to this time. They're just going to go, you're too brown for here. You're not a citizen.
Yeah, and that's what I'm...
That's what it's going to be.
Yeah.
They're just using this as a pretense. And as to your other point, which is when our sit-ins not enough, you have to think about who you're fighting against. Because these are people who will, I guarantee, at some point, find a sit-in like that and just shoot everybody.
Oh, yeah. It's going to happen.
So we're already at the point where that isn't feasible anymore.
I don't think we are, unfortunately. I think it's going...
I think by the time it becomes too late, it's going to be too late.
But that's what I mean. Historically, that has been the case. I think it would take him or an administration deciding to open fire on a peaceful crowd before... Because
With what? Because they're already doing it. They're just doing it with non-lethal rounds. They're already doing it.
Yep. No, I think unfortunately it will have to be lethal, because I mean honestly, until they opened fire on Berkeley, they had the same kind of situation in the 60s. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Until
Kent State?
Yes. Why did I say Berkeley?
I don't know.
Yes. Yes. But yeah, that is the concern, that it would take something like that. And even then, some of those people, I mean, a lot of people are jumping ship right now because of the Epstein files. I'm glad to know that, at least to this degree, pedophilia is a line in the sand for some people.
For everybody. And again, they're not human. That's why these people on the right can't conceive of the idea that Trump would be in it until he said that they weren't going to release it. Because they can't. It's the hardest thing to remember, especially when you're dealing with people who are so filled with hate. It's nobody's the bad guy in their own head.
That's not true. I used to believe that was true. That's not true. There are people who genuinely...
These people don't think they're the bad guys.
who are we talking about when you say these people?
People on the right, the people who voted for Donald Trump.
Okay.
They think that they are right. They think that they
Yes.
are true, honest, good American people.
Most of them, yes, that's true. That's true. But the people they're following, a lot of them know better.
They're just doing it for power and money. It's an ends justify the means attitude. And the thing is the left very much believes that the ends do not justify the means. The means need to actually be held to a certain standard. But at a certain point, they will set that aside.
Yeah, and that's, yeah. And I'm concerned as to where that happens. There's been a lot of arguments, and I'm seeing less of it now, but there were a lot of arguments in the beginning of black people in America, basically saying, we're not going out there. We're not protesting, we're not going out there, we can't be the ones making a noise about this. And I remember you and I having a discussion about this, and, me talking about how kind of disappointed I was. And while on the one hand, no, I can't even say on the one hand, because the argument is that we've been out there before, and it's too dangerous for us. They're looking for a reason to X us out.
That's it's. I don't think it was so much like they're looking for you. It was if you're out there, then it changes the narrative. And right now, the narrative needs to be X and not black people. And
no, that was not the argument.
That's what I thought it was.
No, there was a lot of.
Because then it just becomes angry black people don't know how to.
Yeah, basically.
Instead of
But no, I didn't get the impression from. Admittedly, it's not like I took in all of the internet, but
I did every single one picture. It's all good.
But everything that I saw was very much black people going, no, we're gonna sit this one out of a sense of
I think that's changed.
self-preservation than anything else. And I remember being really disappointed because while I appreciate the sentiment, black people were never out there alone
That's
doing their thing. And so for them for any of them to take the stance, well, we had to do our thing on our own. No, you didn't.
It's true. There were white people in the Black Panthers.
Well,
There were white allies to the Black Panthers.
there we go. And there were plenty of white civil rights people who died
That's true.
and went missing, just like anyone else. The cops did not care. In fact, in some cases, a race traitor was worse than being whatever minority they wanted to hate at that moment. But I think with something like this, I think they're saying that the immigrants are, and let's be specific. Honestly, when they talk about immigrants, they're talking about brown immigrants.
Yes.
Specifically, brown and
Well,
black
they are.
immigrants.
That's what they're talking about. But I will say I've been surprised, not pleasantly, but surprised at the number of white immigrants who are having problems getting back into this country, or getting into this country, I should say, because they are deporting people who are from Germany and from Norway and stuff.
True.
And I think it's based on political.
I was going to say most of those people have seemed pretty left-leaning, very liberal, very
Agreed.
open-minded, empathetic type people. So no, I don't imagine that they're big fans.
Soli is birthright on U.S. soil. It's birthright by location of birth.
Okay.
And then there's jus sanguinis, which is birth by descent, or citizenship by descent. So you would have to prove that at least one of your parents was a citizen when you were born. In addition to your own birth certificate, you would need your parents' birth, either naturalization papers or birth certificate.
Okay.
Yeah, fucking crazy, right?
Well, I mean, it's already crazy that we are living in 2025, where government officials, federal officials, can stop people randomly and ask to see their papers.
Yep. Anyone, by the way.
Yeah, I've never agreed with that. Even the whole, let me see your ID thing. I've never liked that.
And we're from Massachusetts, where that's the law.
I know.
An officer asks you for your ID.
I know.
Right, proof.
Why? I don't understand it. Unless I'm being questioned in relation to something. If I'm a suspect in something, absolutely.
I will say that's how it's supposed to be used. If the cop just was like, hey, show me your ID. Like in the middle, like if you were like in line at the grocery store and the cop walked up, you would be like, why? And you wouldn't be able to ask why, but you could report it.
But that's what I mean. I've never liked that aspect, because that isn't how it's used. It's like, yes, if you think, if you have reason to ask me that, by all means. Someone, fitting my description, and the description has to be more than brown. But I mean, you and I have talked about this, being on the road, traveling the country. For those who don't know, I'm biracial. My mother was white, my father is black. But I have had Mexican, Puerto Rican, Hispanic people come up to me and in my face and speak Spanish to me. And I'm not Spanish. I'm not Hispanic. Way back in my DNA, there's like 2.3% Iberian. But I'm not, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But this particular complexion is not out of place for someone who is Hispanic. So yeah, that's concerning, and it's weird. It's weird because when I was very young, my uncle lived in San Antonio, and we went down to visit him. This would have been like 76, 77, somewhere in there. And for some reason, there was, and I think still is, this kind of weird thing that happens in a lot of border towns and along the southern border, southern states.
Good.
It is perfectly acceptable for a white person to be with someone who is Hispanic, and it's perfectly acceptable for someone who is black to be with someone who is Hispanic. It was not okay for someone who was black to be with someone who was white. So, when we went down to visit my uncle, people assumed that I was Hispanic.
Okay.
This is obviously before dreads or whatever, and I just had little ringlets. And we didn't bother to correct them because that was just the safest and easiest way to go about things at that point in time. And now it is the opposite. It is better for me at this point to be half black than to be Hispanic in this political climate. And that's crazy. It's just crazy.
It is crazy.
In my lifetime, we've watched it flip. Yeah, I don't
are so many things that are meeting all together right now. Okay, so you got Project 2025, right? The Heritage Foundation, which wrote Project 2025, but it goes back further than that because they had an idea for this 30 years ago, because they have been slowly putting people on the bench so that when it occurs, everything will just go through.
Yeah, the GOP has definitely been playing a long game.
It's the John Birch Society.
Yes.
John Birch.
Yep. Baptist John. Yep. Yep.
I'm trying to make sure, but I think it's the John Birch Society. Yeah. Founded in '58. So, but even that, like, because it always comes from businesses, and this time specifically oligarchs. I mean, they tried this 100 years ago, in the 1920s. There was an attempted coup on the country.
Oh, that.
By fascists. There was this really popular Marine general named Smedley Butler, who was at the time the most decorated Marine ever. And a lawyer came to him and was like, hey, I represent some very influential people who think that the president, who was just been voted in, was Roosevelt, Franklin, FDR.
Oh, okay.
And he was proposing all these very socialist ideas. And so this lawyer came to Smedley Butler and was like, hey, I represent some very famous, very, very powerful people who think that FDR maybe has a little bit too much on his plate. Maybe has a little bit too much to do. And he's overextending himself. And you're a really popular guy, and the veterans really seem to like it. The veterans at the time were a huge voting bloc.
Yep.
And they're like, so what if we could guarantee that the veterans will get all the money that they need, because at the time they were getting blocked everywhere. And you would become a kind of co-president, like assistant president.
No, VP was?
No. Until the VP had very little power until very recently. An assistant president to help take on some of the more difficult tasks and let him, do the easier stuff. It was fascism. They're like we think Hitler's ideas are really coming up, because it was in the early 30s, and we think we want to really kind of follow that direction. And Smedley Butler was like, you bring up interesting ideas. I have a friend of mine who I want to listen into this. Do you mind if I bring someone with me next time? And they're like, absolutely, whoever you want. So he brought his buddy along, and they listened. The guy took notes, and they were like, yay. And the next day it was in the paper because he brought a reporter. Now what's fascinating is that guy, that lawyer, died in a car accident.
Really?
Like 2 weeks, no more than 2 weeks, but a little while later, yeah. Now, it's suspected, unproven, that FDR brought in all of those business leaders. And he basically said, hey, I got proof. I got proof that you guys tried to overthrow the government. I can hang all of you right now. I have proof, but I want my New Deal to go through. So you guys don't fight it, and you won't hang. And that's why the New Deal went through, because it was very controversial at the time. Same way it would be today, but nobody stood up. Nobody really stood against it. I mean, there was some opposition, but not as crazy as it should have been, and that's why they think it should be noted that Kennedy was among those people.
Gee, which one?
JFK's dad,
Yeah.
JFK would have been, what, 12 at the time?
Yeah, because Joe Kennedy was a gangster.
He was a monster.
But see, that's what I'm talking about. Those situations. I mean, that's awful. That's awful, and wrong. Where would we be if we didn't get the New Deal? Nowhere good.
I honestly don't even know.
Nowhere good. Although we also wouldn't be, wringing our hands at what we're losing, because we wouldn't have had it.
We'd still be lead in gasoline.
Yeah.
Build something new. Build something better. It's the one silver lining out of all of this. It's by tearing everything down, you can build something new. Anyway.
No one wants to acknowledge that their original recipe doesn't work or doesn't work anymore or can be, tweaked. Yeah. I think next week I would want to. Why don't you pick next week?
You want to talk about what I want to talk about next week?
As pertains to politics or whatever's in headlines or yeah. Batter up. So tune in next Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern and you'll see what Matt wants to talk about.
How a lack of compassion has led to the current state of affairs. How love of one's fellow man could actually bring us out of this if you could just...
Now, have you heard? Empathy is a sin.
Fuck you.
Alright guys, make sure you like,
Empathy is a sin.
subscribe. All those nifty things that social media lets you do. Go to all of the socials, push all of the buttons, and check out our website, which is now up and running.
You can eat as much shrimp as you want, though.
Granny and the Geek, all one word, no need to capitalize.com.